over 75% of people with acne struggle with anxiety. Cortisol, our stress hormone, directly triggers your oil glands, one of the primary contributors and drivers of acne, and also disrupts the skin microbiome and the barrier and prevents skin cell turnover. All of these things are contributing to acne formation.
My guest today, Dr. Keira Barr, is a dermatologist who diagnosed her own melanoma. And that's when she figured out the real secret to clear skin. It's not what you put on your face, it's what you stop doing to your body. Your breakouts aren't random. They're happening because your body is stuck in a stress mode. Every time you worry, your skin ages faster. Every bad night's sleep shows up on your face. But here's one thing. People with great skin aren't buying more products. They're doing one simple thing that's totally free and takes 2 minutes. Dr. Barr walks us through exactly how to switch your body from stress mode into healing mode. No serums needed, just one technique that works from the inside out. If you want to know what your skin has been trying to tell you all along, I want you to keep listening because your skin is a result of your internal nervous system, emotional state. This conversation will change everything you knew about skincare. All right, Dr. Keira Barr, what you do is amazing. You and I share this love for somatics and nervous system regulation and emotions, but you're focusing on the skin, yes, which is huge. So I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, I have some rapid fire questions. Let's get the audience appetized and then we'll go right into all of your work. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Everyone is talking about this 24-hour skin cycling thing. I look on TikTok and they're like, you flip your products. Every 24 hours, you're just doing this and that. Does cycling your products even matter if your nervous system is stuck in a stressful state?
Not really.
Not really.
I think products are great. However, if the nervous system is sending the signals to rally the troops, send out the inflammation, it doesn't really matter what you're putting on your skin.
Doesn't matter. We're going to go into that. Okay. There's a thing on TikTok that I saw when I researched this. It's called slugging.
Yes.
You put on these thick ointments and you get this, you put it on at bedtime and you have this glow. It's viral for a glow. It's supposed to be so good for the skin barrier. If people are doing this to protect their skin barrier and for that glow, but they're suffering with deep repressed emotions or constant anxiety, does that matter?
You know, it's a both and, right? So we know that stress directly affects the skin barrier, disrupts the microbiome, increases water loss, increase oil production, irritation, inflammation. So what slugging can do is, right, we want to draw moisture in and then seal it in. That's where the ointments and the barriers to help reinforce that barrier. So that can be really helpful. Mm-hmm. But then you have to go deeper, right? It's not an either or, it's a both and. It's
both and. Okay.
Yeah.
Another one that you listen. I was going deep into the TikTok trends.
I am not on TikTok, so I don't.
Salmon sperm.
Okay.
And it's not the first time I heard it. There was somebody that told me in person they use salmon sperm. Have you heard about it, Dr. Yes, I never heard about it.
I have heard about it. I have never used it.
Okay.
Yes.
So salmon sperm is a super trending anti-aging hack. It's supposed to be the thing that is like the thing that anti-ages you. Would you say the biggest contributor to aging is chronic stress in the nervous system, unresolved material?
I would. Everyone's talking about anti-aging and biohacking, but the thing that is going to chomp your collagen the fastest is increased cortisol levels, breaking down collagen and preventing its repair. Bottom line.
Number one.
Oh
my God, I wish we'd talk about more about this in our world. We just missed this.
Yeah.
So another thing trending, the LED masks, the red light therapy.
Yeah.
And I know that they work, but a lot of people are using it for acne. Mm-hmm. Can acne be connected to nervous system dysfunction, unresolved stress in the system?
Absolutely.
Acne too.
In fact, so this is the thing. 85% of the population is affected by acne at some point in their lifetime. And studies show that over 75% of people with acne struggle with anxiety, whether that is the, contributor to or the result from. But we know that cortisol, our stress hormone, directly triggers your oil glands, one of the primary contributors and drivers of acne, and also disrupts the skin microbiome and the barrier and prevents skin cell turnover. All of these things are contributing to acne formation. So yes. So yes. So we think so much about hormones, and cortisol is a hormone, but we think about
maybe it's around my cycle. It must be estrogen, right? Or maybe too much testosterone in my system. But we're not really talking enough about how cortisol is affected by upstream effects of the brain and nervous system. Okay, thank you. All right, we got appetized. We got the trends out of the way.
Right. I'm not very trendy person.
That is okay. So you came in, and you're an authority on psychodermatology, which I haven't heard that word until I read more about you.
Yeah.
And it's basically the term that our mind affects our body, affects our skin, overall body, skin, right? And you were in medical school. Did you want to even go in? I know they weren't telling you about this. You were not learning this in medical school. There must have been a moment where you said, wait a minute, I don't want to just do dermatology. I want to go into something a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
What happened in medical school that changed and shifted you?
Well, I'll say it goes back further than that. So I was born with 2 birthmarks on my face. And my mom thought I was a dirty baby, right? So there was already I wasn't, good enough in some ways. So it started really young. And then when I was in school, kids called me coffee stain face. And so at a very young age, I learned that my skin could be a source of shame and embarrassment and humiliation. And so what I figured out, my coping strategy was I could mask those with suntans and sunburns. So my dad's a redhead. So I burned before I tanned, lots of sun damage, which would play out once I became a dermatologist. But fast forward, I am in medical school and interested in skin and such. But applying for dermatology, what I realized is the essay I wrote to get into dermatology was all about the mind-skin connection and the mental health impact because this is very long-winded, but I was a religious studies major in college. And I was fascinated by, we all struggle with challenges, but some people are devout, some people don't believe, and yet we figure out a way to get through our challenges. Like, what are the answers? Why is this? Never got my answers. But I studied the Italian Jews in the Holocaust. And that was fascinating because they had among the highest survival rates. And Primo Levi was a Holocaust survivor, and he wrote a book. And in one of his books, Survival in Auschwitz, there's a passage where he describes his experience of being stripped of everything, his belongings, his humility, his dignity, and being at what he called the bottom. Now, I'm not trying to say that someone living with a visible skin issue like psoriasis or vitiligo is equivalent to a Holocaust survivor, but living in a society that puts so much value and worth on your complexion and your appearance as if that is what you are based on what you look, people are driven to their own version of a psychological bottom on a daily basis. And I wanted to alleviate that suffering. So I knew that even though I didn't have the word for it, I didn't understand that that was a subspecialty in derm, even applying to get into it, that's always been a through line for me because of my own lived experience and then wanting to help others. So, that wasn't what I practiced mostly in derm. It was skin cancer, melanoma, but after my own health fell apart and having to diagnose myself with early melanoma because of all the masking that I had done, it led me down the path where I am now and kind of coming back to my roots. So very circuitous way, but
yeah. And the pain of that childhood ridicule can sort of create the seeds for what fruits a lot later. And
absolutely.
And that's what you're doing. And I'm so intrigued by this work because, I do the somatic work, we're working on the emotional planes, and it's just overall body. But there was one moment, and I want to share this with you, where I saw that this was most true. And this was the moment where, right around the time where I found you, so I was like, oh, we need her on the show. I had this client who had eczema, most of her torso, all of her limbs.
Yeah.
I didn't see back pics, but it's definitely most of her torso and all of her limbs. Red, inflamed, and I didn't even see her in person. I saw her virtual. And she was in a group class. I never even got to see her face. Yeah. Because the camera was off. And one 2-hour session, she sent me a photo. 2 weeks later, gone.
Yeah.
Everything, gone. And her experience was anger. A lot of rage in this woman. Young girl. And she always gives me permission. She goes, keep talking about it. So when I put pictures, people go, I can't believe this. It was first of all, it was in 2 days. It was from red to pink. And then in 2 weeks, it was gone.
Yeah.
Have you seen cases like this in your work?
Yes, absolutely. So a similar experience with a client of mine who struggled with chronic hives. So itchy red welts, and she was breaking out 3-4 times a day on maximum dose antihistamines, 4 different ones. Had seen 8 or 10 dermatologists over the years. And within a session or two of listening to her and understanding her skin story, right? The origins of this that started when she was very young, from not being able to express herself, being the good girl, the perfect, child. Hives, maybe 1 breakout every 3-4 days, drugs as needed.
Wow.
Once you learn, right? It's not, not as if you won't need medicine, right? But it's understanding what's happening beneath the surface that is fueling and driving the inflammation. So I love stories like this because people need to know they're not broken.
Yeah.
They're not broken. There's nothing wrong with them. Their nervous system, their body is responding and behaving in the way that it thinks it needs to because it thinks it's still under some sort of threat.
So what's happening in these people who are coming in there that have psychosomatic driven skin issues? What is a mechanistic happening in the body where you're seeing things like inflammation coming to the surface of the eczema or the psoriasis or the hives or the rashes? What's happening in the body? Is it a hormonal thing?
Yeah, so it's obviously this body is very complex and there's layers and nuances and all that. And in many ways, it's very simple. The skin and the brain, the nervous system, all derive from the same layer of embryologic tissue, the ectoderm, right? So they're in communication all the time. I made a joke when we were starting, like my real-time mind-skin communication, I was sweating because I'm nervous, right? Like, so that's just how you know that this is real. So the brain and the skin, it's like a two-way highway, constant communication, but it becomes a 4-lane freeway because the nervous system, the immune system, the cutaneous skin system, and the endocrine system are all interconnected, what we call the NICE network. And the nervous system, if you think of it as like command central, the nervous system is what tells all the other systems how to respond, behave, function. And if the nervous system is picking up, right, I'm deeply inspired by Dr. Stephen Porges' work in polyvagal theory. If our nervous system is acting kind of like our own personal surveillance system and picking up cues inside, right? How tired we are, how thirsty we are, outside, the sights, sounds, and smells, and then the in-between. And this is the one that's really big, is the relational, the in-between, picking up cues of safety or danger, then the nervous system is going to respond accordingly. Cues of danger, okay, gotta signal the immune system to release cytokines, gotta signal the endocrine system to release the stress hormones so all the other hormones take a back seat. But what most people may not know is, right, you think of the nervous system as a top down, the brain in central, right? Your skin actually has its own stress response system. Your skin is a neuroimmunoendocrine organ in and of itself. It can produce inflammatory signaling. It has its own hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So it's not just receiving the signals from the nervous system, it's sending them back. So your skin is both a target and a source of the stress response, which is why we see it so visibly. The skin is a billboard for everything that's happening beneath the surface.
Is it possible if someone has a skin flare of something or a skin condition that it's not psychosomatic, that it's solely something else?
Absolutely. So we think about like irritant or allergic contact dermatitis, right? Something like that, where there is something that is affecting the skin barrier itself. But what created the conditions conducive for that to be such a significant flare, right? Where they run down, we're not sleeping, right? This is all about relationship. I always think of skincare as relational. It's the relationship between our mind and body, the nervous system and the skin, and everything we think, feel, and do affects either what shows up on the skin or how we show up in it.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. In your work and what you found, do certain skin conditions connect to specific emotions in the body? I'm really interested. There's a message? It's a messenger system.
It is.
Is there a language to skin issues?
I think we're learning more and more about this. This is kind of areas of becoming of more interest, certainly of mine.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting, what's known, like hives that I mentioned, it's considered an emotional allergy, right? So suppression of emotion has been associated with hives. But psoriasis is an interesting one where anger has been tied to it consistently in multiple studies. So suppression of anger, right? And if you look when psoriasis is flared, it's red, it's scaly, it's thick, it's inflamed. People will say angry skin. So, so I would say anger is an emotion that you might see over several inflammatory skin conditions.
As I sit here with psoriasis. So, has acne had any connection psychosomatically to anything specific, or is it just more generalized that the system is in a chronic state of cortisol? Cortisol is hitting the sebaceous glands and so on and so forth.
That's a really great question, and I don't know yet if there's been a real tie, because what we see more is the anxiety, shame, depression, overwhelm that results or is reported from people living with acne versus more information of what the feeling might have been prior to. So that one may need a little more time to suss out.
So what about eczema? Is it usually food allergy driven or food intolerance driven? Or can eczema in itself also have an emotional core? Here's something that may hit home for a lot of you. How many of you toss and turn in your sleep? How many of you wake up really easily through the night? How many of you wake up exhausted even after you've been in bed and you slept for 8 hours? I've been there. It's frustrating. Actually, I'm more sensitive of a sleeper, so I'm in there fairly often if I don't do the right things for myself. It's not that my mind won't shut down. I can go to sleep. It's that I wake up easily. But some people, their mind won't shut down. Now, a lot of you rely on melatonin, like many people do. It works, but I've taken it before. It gives me the weirdest dreams. It keeps me super groggy. The next day, I know the morning's harder, sluggish. It's even into the afternoon for me. So I knew I wanted to support my sleep. I know a few of my friends who really benefit from CBD sleep gummies. And I said, let me give it a try. I researched what are the best CBD sleep gummy companies out there. There's not a lot. The gummy industry inherently doesn't really care about creating purified, clean gummies, not like cornbread hemp. Cornbread gummies, the CBD ones, have been a game changer for my nighttime routine. I spoke about this for many months. You might have heard me talk about this before. They have a USDA organic, melatonin-free CBD gummy made in America, which means you get all of the natural sleep support benefits without any of that morning grogginess. And it's real. It's not a fake formulation. You're taking full spectrum, flower only hemp extract combined with natural botanicals like valerian root, lavender, and chamomile. These ingredients have been used for centuries. They're evidence-based. They promote relaxation, a restful sleep. And when you combine it with CBD, especially the full spectrum one, your whole system calms down. And I'm talking about within an hour to an hour and a half before bed. You take it 2 hours, you might not make it to the bed. You might fall asleep on the couch. But what happens is your whole nervous system feels really calm, start getting tired. And if you couple these with blue blockers, you will be out. It's I'm telling you the nighttime hack. You couple it with blue blockers, you eat your gummy. It is incredible. And you're not groggy, you're not sluggish. And it's like your nervous system is really winding down. Cornbread Hemp is one of the few companies that cares about even producing organic gummies. They're vegan, gluten-free. They're made without any sugar coating, clean, natural ingredients that you can pronounce. No synthetic compounds, no questionable additives, pure organic wellness. If you're looking for a way to wind down, one of my favorite ways is to go with the Cornbread Sleep Gummy, the CBD one. Right now, they're offering you 30% off of your first order. Go to cornbreadhemp.com/DRG and use the code DRG at checkout. That is CORNBREADHEMP hemp.com/DRG. The code is DRG for 30% off. Let me talk to you something that has been a total game changer in my home, and it's probably not what you think. It is an air purifier, because what we breathe in matters as much as what we eat or drink. And air quality in our homes can be filled from everything from mold spores to pollen to smoke to allergies. And air purifiers are so important. Most of them are going to be in plastic boxes, make a lot of noise. And then I discovered the Jasper. The Jasper was brought to me by my sales team, and they said, this is a fantastic air purifier. And I looked into it, and it was true. I loved it so much that I got the founder on. And what immediately caught my attention is the design. It's so many of the air purifiers are clunky, antiquated looking, 90s looking, and this is sleek, quiet, and powerful. But here's what really got me. It's built with steel, not plastic. So we're talking about machines that are actually built to last. So Jasper handles everything from smoke to mold to pollen, all the allergens that make you feel terrible without you even realizing why. Whether you're dealing with seasonal allergies, live in an area that is susceptible to wildfires or smoke, or just want the cleanest air possible in your home, get this. I am confident that you will love it. It has a lifetime warranty. Yes, lifetime. That tells you everything you need to know about the quality and engineering that goes into these units. Since I've been using my Jasper for about a year now, I have 2 running. One's on the first floor, one's on the second floor. I have 3 actually, 1 first floor, second, third floor. And I've noticed cleaner air, better overall sleep, and just an overall sense that my home environment is clean. The air is nice. We tested it. We have people come in and test the air and they say the air is super clean. Thank you, Jasper. Go to jasper.co/DRG and use the code DRG for $200 off for a limited time. That is JASPR.co/DRG. The code is DRG.
I think eczema for sure can have an emotional core. And what's so fascinating, listen, it's never just one thing. And I'm not going to be dogmatic and be like, fix your nervous system and you'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
Well, we know that the nervous system is command central, but there's a lot of downstream effects that happen, right? When we are stressed, well, your gut, you don't need to digest and you don't need to procreate, right? So there's going to be decreased gut motility. There's going to be dysbiosis, which can lead to food sensitivities or allergies and what have you. But what's interesting about eczema, especially atopic dermatitis, starts often in childhood. Right. And there's more and more research. And I presented this at the American Academy of Dermatology because I'm like, my colleagues need to know this. There is more research showing the impact of adverse childhood experiences on chronic skin diseases and atopic dermatitis in particular. It's the family nervous system. Kids are sponges, right? So it may not be what's going on primarily for the child, but what are they picking up from the parents in that energetic field? And then their skin flares, and then that stresses the parents out. And then you have this infinity loop back and forth. So,
that's what came up when you were saying. That's what came up when you were saying that. I had this hit that something like a psoriasis develops later, but in eczema, oftentimes children have it, toddlers have it, who don't have to worry about paying bills. They don't have to worry. But when you said that, I immediately began to think about something generational, and or family system.
So interesting. So there's actually a paper that showed that the state of mom when she's carrying baby, because cortisol can cross the blood-brain barrier, they found that moms who were stressed, those children were more inclined to have atopic dermatitis. So, and that stress that the mom was carrying may not have even been hers, right? We know that there's intergenerational trauma and how it affects our genetics, epigenetics, but then through the womb, in utero, a child can come out into this world more vulnerable, more predisposed. Their window of capacity is a lot smaller.
Already predisposed by the signals in utero. Yeah. So this is so important for soon-to-be parents.
Yes.
Or parents having another kid, is that it's really, really important to at least work on our nervous system before we have that child. And
I'm not saying this as a way to blame or shame the parent. It's kind of like, it's not your fault, right? We don't even know what's been passed down to us, what we're carrying, and then we live in this world where there's so much chaos that our windows of I don't like saying tolerance, right? Because we can tolerate a lot of shit, and but that window of capacity to be resilient, to roll with the punches, becomes much more narrow. And so oftentimes that's not of your own making, but that awareness of, okay, well, there are certain things in my life that I can assert some agency over. What are those things to maybe widen the window so that our family can thrive? Right? Not just me, but our entire family can thrive.
I knew this person once, and she was a friend of mine in college, and when she would get nervous, she would pick her face, like for pimples that weren't there. but what a direct expression of the nervous system being in that I'm unsafe state and that need to pick. Do you speak about skin picking in your work?
Yeah, so skin picking, right? All of these things that we maybe demonize or say are bad, they're bad habits. Really, it's just our own way of trying to find comfort and a felt sense of safeness.
Yeah.
Right? So skin picking is a manifestation of undischarged energy or, worry. And we're just trying to figure out a way to create soothing. That's like a hair pulling, skin picking, right? That initial, it's like a dopamine hit.
I see.
And then there's shame. And then then you do it again to relieve the shame, and it becomes this vicious loop. So all of these are just coping strategies. So the invitation is to recognize, first of all, I'm picking, some people don't even realize they're doing it. And then what happens when I'm picking? What happens right before? And kind of like backtrack it. And you then can, oftentimes what we call habit reversal, like give a different trigger and tool, right? Instead of picking, maybe it's progressive muscle relaxation or something else, or breathing. But it happens commonly, and it's really just a beautiful coping strategy. And I think that's the message that I want to impart over and over and over again, right? There's nothing wrong with you, but these habits that you created to soothe may no longer be serving you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Is it possible for a skin flare to happen where there might be a trauma in the body? For example, if there was a molestation or a rape, could skin flares happen around the genitals or the anus or the hips? Is that something that, it might be a little nuanced, but I just thought to myself, is that possible?
I don't do hypnosis, but the hypnotherapists that I've spoken with, especially dealing with warts and genital warts.
Right. This is what I'm trying to get at. Things like that. So tell me more.
Yes. Out of guilt, like after they, especially individuals who may have had marital affairs or what have you, there's betrayal. When they work through the guilt, like the genital warts resolve, right? It's fascinating. So yes, to answer your question, I do believe there is. And what's really interesting is there's a condition called scleroderma, where the skin essentially becomes sclerotic or scarred down, and it's a mummification of the body. It happens internally, so of the blood vessels, so it can be quite devastating and fatal, but the skin itself gets hardened. And again, conventional medicine, I tried to share this, and they're like, they didn't want to talk about the trauma, but many women who struggle, most autoimmune conditions are more in women, the numbers are increasing. I think it was 70%, now it's 80%. And scleroderma too, more women than men. And there is a proportion of those scleroderma patients who've been victims of sexual assault. And it's a literal creating a shield of armor around their bodies. And oftentimes that information doesn't get discovered until later. Much too late.
Huge psychosomatic component.
Yeah.
And I think that conventional medicine may be doing a disservice, not even not considering it, not looking at that first. You have to ask and look and investigate, is there something being held in the system that could be contributing to this?
Right.
Instead of just obviously looking for solutions like topicals or something that can work, and there's something else going on.
Right.
And I love that you brought out the scleroderma picture, because and the genital warts. That's what I was thinking about herpes too.
Yes.
It's like all of these things. I remember I was in Australia and I had a conversation with this lady on the beach, and she's like, "Oh yeah, genital herpes means shame in the body." And I go, "Oh wow." I never thought. I'm always open-minded, right?
Right.
But it was really something that stuck to me, and I think about these things is what a beautiful way that the body can express by bringing things literally to the surface.
Absolutely.
You spoke about collagen in the quick hits in the beginning, and collagen is the thing. We take the collagen peptides. We do the red light therapy for the collagen. We want to feed our collagen. We take in vitamin C, the creams for the collagen,
biohacking.
All the biohacking, right? Collagen. And I know some of those things have evidence behind them.
Yeah.
But you said one of the biggest disruptors of collagen is that internal stress. What's happening in the body to cause that?
So again, right, there's dysregulation or disruption of that nice network. If the nervous system is constantly picking up cues of danger or threat, it's going to be sending signals to the other systems to be on the defense, which means there is going to be increased production of reactive oxygen species, which creates, prevents repair of our DNA damage. We're getting ultraviolet exposure, damage from air pollution, and the collagen is getting disrupted, not being able to be repaired. And then cortisol itself can shorten our telomeres, right? So accelerated aging, it can break down collagen and prevent its repair. So the fine lines, the wrinkles, are presenting themselves because of chronic stress.
Yeah.
And when we are also stressed, then our sleep gets disrupted. And there's this beautiful dynamic between cortisol and melatonin, right? We know that cortisol, like our natural circadian rhythms, cortisol is supposed to increase during the day, go down at night, so we can get some rest. And melatonin, which is one of the body's most potent antioxidants, is going to rise at night. And melatonin is incredibly important for hair. It helps with hair growth and DNA damage and repair. So if we are feeling all out of sorts and stressed out, then our sleep rhythm and cycle is going to be disrupted, which means your skin doesn't have that window of reparative time either. So it becomes a compound effect, right? This is why diet and lifestyle is also really important, because those are stressors to the system.
But you do believe that collagen is deeply affected by persistent stress?
I do. If you think about wound healing, right? In individuals with metabolic dysfunction, chronic stress, these are all evidence of stress in all its different forms on the body, disrupting collagen's capacity to produce in the most efficient and effective way.
Yeah, and I would think that if the body's under a stressful state, it's utilizing those peptides or those amino acids for other things in the body.
Yeah.
Right? Like recruiting it. The skin seems to be the last thing that the body really, the glow is the last thing if there's an internal fire. Am I right?
The skin can reflect that. Yeah, usually. So I think that's a really good point. I'm thinking back to a patient I had during residency, that the skin was the first manifestation that was recognizable of his metastatic cancer.
Is that right?
He had a huge lesion on his forehead, and we biopsied it, and it was metastatic lung cancer, right? So what's happening beneath the surface can be stewing and simmering for a long time.
Yeah.
The skin might be the first loudest version or first evidence, but it's usually an expression that's because things have been brewing under the surface for quite some time.
For like a little cauldron that is bubbling up. I'm imagining.
Yeah.
And how many people don't see these signals on their skin as body communication, but instead look for the nearest corticosteroids or creams or anything topical. We've built this approach to our skin as like, okay, let me just lather something on or expose it to something, and then everything will be okay.
Right. Quick fix society. I mean, it's not the consumer's fault. This is how we've been conditioned to behave.
Absolutely.
And it's not sexy. Like the work I do, it's not sexy, right? Taking a pill, doing a cream, having a cute little 10-step routine, that's fun. But wallowing in your grief and crying and sobbing, that is not so glamorous, right? And not everyone wants to do that work. So it makes a lot of sense that we have also, full transparency. I do this work because I need to do this work.
Yeah.
My own skin, having to diagnose myself as someone who did a melanoma fellowship, to have to diagnose myself with early melanoma as the tip of the iceberg. And then it was the gut issues, the autoimmune issues, 2 surgeries. And I was like, what the actual F? I'm a physician and I don't know how to help myself. This is embarrassing. Talk about shame. Talk about guilt. Talk about dark night of the soul kind of a thing. And it wasn't until I kind of exhausted all the practitioners and all the pills and all the protocols and all the supplements that I had to face, like, oh no, your body has been screaming at you for the longest time. It's why I named my book The Skin Whisperer, right? The invitation is, can we hear the messages that the body is saying, the skin is saying, when they're just a whisper versus shouting? And most of us have been told to shush the messenger. Shush, it's inconvenient.
Yeah. One practice that I do with my clients is any condition in the body. First of all, the body speaks. And if we get enough into a brainwave state where we're grounded into our body and we can actually connect to that part of our body and breathe and actually deepen and actually deepen and actually feel, when you ask a question, oftentimes you're going to get the answer really fast, whether in words or an image. And so you can't imagine the amount of times that internal issues that's expressed with. But I'm thinking to myself in psoriasis here, I can already I'm attuned to my body that I know that this is anytime I'm overly stressed, anytime I feel shamed or not good enough that I can be, do, say, or have what I want, these flares show, and then I want to cover it up and be in shame. It's literally expressing shame internally, going, okay, well, here's more shame for you. I also know that I'm a fiery Latin man, so that when that comes up and it's not expressed, it comes out in the body. So I know that the shame and anger always appear as psoriasis and some other physical mold stuff, we talked about that. So thank you for sharing about your experience and allowing me to share about this experience. Now connecting to the body and talking to it, potent. Is there any practices now for people listening or viewing going, whoa, I have acne. I have never thought about my acne being anything other than hormonal that I can do at home for any skin issues? Cooking can help some people, but other people benefit from raw foods and enzymes. It's different for each person, but I really want you to pay attention to this from a nutritional standpoint. If you are stressed and not eating mindfully the way that nature intended, your pancreatic enzymes are going to suffer. Pancreatic enzymes are something that suffers immediately when you are in a stressful state. So you really have to make sure that if you're not sitting and eating mindfully with zero distraction, I'm talking about zero, not even talking to anyone, then your pancreatic enzymes are going to be affected. That's why we have something called digestive enzymes. When you have a high quality digestive enzymes like Masszymes by Biooptimizers, you're having a best-in-class supplement that's loaded with the full spectrum of enzymes to digest protein, starch, sugars, fibers, fats, everything comprehensively for digestive support. If your natural pancreatic enzymes shut down, you'd be dead. But when we're stressed, they're not being produced at a high level. This is when you want to complement them. So if you're stressed, if you're out to eat, if you're on the go, you really should be thinking about supplementing digestive enzymes. They've made a difference in my life. I take them all the time, especially when I have big meals or when I know I'm not eating mindfully. And when you have better digestion from enzymes, you have less bloating, less heartburn, less constipation, less diarrhea, less gut issues overall. And on top of that, you're setting yourself up for better absorption of all of these macronutrients and nutrients getting into the body, giving you more energy so you feel better. So if you want the digestive enzymes I've been using for many years, I bring them out to eat all the time. I have them in my pocket, or I put them in a little zippy thing. Go to biooptimizers.com/DRG and enter the code DRG to get 15% off of your order. And if you subscribe, you'll get amazing discounts and free gifts while ensuring that your monthly supply is guaranteed. Go to BIOPTIMIZERS.com/DRG and the code is DRG.
Yeah, I think your practice that you do is similar. I think what I love to share with people is a skincare routine. We think of it as like some corrective.
Of course.
Corrective routine. Slap on the serum, fix. Let's spot treat. Let's put the acne patches. Let's cover it up. And the invitation I always offer is, what if it were a ritualistic form of connection? And so touch is one of the most potent healing modalities that I think is available to us. And we think about slapping on the serums, but we don't necessarily think about slowing down and creating connection through touch with ourselves. Because for those with inflamed skin, touching the skin, being near the body can be a very uncomfortable sensation. So I always invite people not to necessarily touch the area that's affected, but our skin is studded with thousands of nerve endings that are tied into the nervous system. And there are particular, they're called C-tactile afferent fibers or C fibers, CT fibers. And the research has shown that they're directly connected to the emotional regulation centers in the brain. And that slow, especially downward stroking, is very effective. This is why massage is so potent and powerful. It really is tapping into those afferent fibers. And we know that touch releases oxytocin. So teaching people how, even, especially my acne patients, right? You don't have to rub, you don't have to scrub. But what if you were to just hold your face? What would it feel like just to receive your touch without trying to fix? And it's amazing. People will just hold their face. And before you know it, then they're crying and they're sobbing because they've never offered themselves that care and kindness before because they thought they had to cover up and camouflage that this was shameful. So I find different forms of touch to be incredibly powerful because of the release of oxytocin for the activation of those C-tactile afferent fibers, and also the care and compassion that we can offer ourselves. And we often, again, in medicine, we outsource. We think we have to go to a doctor, we have to go to somebody else to make us feel better. But touch is something you can offer yourself, right? Self-hug. When the nervous system is in a state of shutdown, I always talk about the nervous system like an elevator. And if you're in the basement, right, disconnection, shutdown, numb, touch, just gentle squeezes, remind your body like you're still here. And it kind of wakes it up, right?
Wakes up that connection.
Wakes up that connection.
The interoception, the mind-body connection, right? Yeah. And it's funny because when people take a moment to connect with their body, it gives them the capacity and space to start feeling. Yeah. And then I'm imagining literally someone who's suffering with acne taking 3 minutes, 2 minutes to touch and hold and actually feel what that means and connecting with it. The connection part is most important. Things will come up. Things will come up, you know? While you're saying that, I'm just touching my elbow and I'm like, okay, what do you need, right? Like there's a moment where you can ask, what do you need? The body will talk to you.
Yeah. And what I find is really interesting, so working with somatic touch, our inclination is usually to go right to the spot that's affected.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that's too much. The body, you're not ready for it, right? So being really curious of slowing down of like, if I were to offer support, where could I offer it? Sometimes it's right on top, but sometimes it's adjacent to it. Sometimes it's very remote and distant. And with time, you can move a little closer.
I see.
But I think it's really interesting, you know, when something hurts, we hold it. But actually the invitation is, well, how much pressure, right? A little bit more, a little bit less. And does it feel better if you move to the left, to the right, up, down, a little bit of twisting motion? And it's amazing what can get released. And then before you know it, that spot is connected to somewhere else and there's a release. And another spot is connected to somewhere else and there's a release. So letting the body guide you, but sometimes not just going right on top of it.
The body will show you.
The body will show you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I think about anytime I tune into my body, I'll go, where's the first place? And that place could be not the place that I feel discomfort or pain or tension. It might be the opposite space. But remember the fascia, I always tell people the fascia is the whole body network. So left shoulder is directly connected to right hip or wherever it is, you know, the whole body.
Yeah.
So beauty in the beauty industry, beauty in the magazines means, you know, you're beautiful and you're glowing and you look young and you have no wrinkles and your hair looks great.
And you should be anti everything about yourself.
Anti everything.
Talk about stress and shame and all of that. Like,
yeah. We had someone like a teen beauty, someone who's an advocate for true, authentic expression, teaching teens what beauty means on the show years ago. And I actually felt how much weight young women have and expectations on beauty. It really gave, you know, I didn't grow up with sisters. I didn't really know this, and really hit me hard. And so what does beauty for you? What does beauty from your lens, your perspective, your expertise truly mean for you?
I think beauty is acceptance of who we are in this skin of ours. I am a midlife woman and anti-aging, right? Like this is the worst term ever. My great grandfather was 104. I hope that I get to be that old and that I can age, right? Why would I want to be anti anything about myself? So I think beauty is honoring where I'm at, tuning out the noise, and accepting all the flaws, all the things, which is hard when there's so much external noise. And I have a daughter and a son. I can see it, right? The pressure with my daughter, but no gender is immune to this, especially with social media. I remember my son getting targeted because he was a high-level lacrosse player. And so on his feed, he'd be, six-pack abs and all the things. And this kid is like 14 at the time, happy-go-lucky kid. And then I see him just down in the dumps. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And sure enough, he said that, I'm not good enough, I'm not big enough, I'm not strong enough, all the,
I see.
Right?
Yeah. It hits both.
That not enough,
the not enoughness hits both, just in different ways, for sure. Yeah. So that beauty that you're painting this picture for us, this beauty, do we need to witness the depth of what's happening that's causing the dysregulation of our system in order to achieve that? Or is it just acceptance of where we are?
I think beauty can be found in so many things, right? This is where, again, looking to my mentors like Deb Dana, like the glimmers, right? Beauty can be found like in a moment like this, right? Human connection. And I feel content. I feel comfortable in my own skin. That's beautiful. That has nothing to do with what I see when I look in the mirror, right? So I think can we find, the people, the places, the things, the moments that offer a felt sense of safeness, connection, joy, comfort. That's beauty.
That's beauty.
That's beauty.
Wow. So for the people, the viewing, the listening, they're constantly having issues with their skin. They feel defeated. They've tried all the things. What's one powerful reframe that you can give them that can sort of instantly start shifting their relationship with their skin?
Yeah, I think, again, you're not broken, right? Your skin, your body's behaving exactly how it thinks it's supposed to. It's actually doing its very best to support you, not betray you. Your skin isn't misbehaving, it's messaging. And so the invitation is, can you maybe notice or pay attention to what it's trying to offer you? And that doesn't mean you have to spend your entire life trying to heal. It's like, get really curious. Well, let's start with sleep, right? How have I been sleeping? Well, most people say pretty shitty. Okay, great. Let's talk about that. We don't have to get into the emotions and all the things right away, because that's a little too hard. But what's the one thing that is in your control, right? Hydration, spending time outside, doing something fun. So I think the reframe is understanding that there really isn't anything wrong with you, but the messages that your body and your skin is getting right now are creating conditions conducive for inflammation. So how can we cultivate the conditions conducive for healing?
And we can do that.
And we can do that.
So, and you're saying it starts with that connection, relationship to your skin and the messaging that's there.
Absolutely. So I have a framework that it's our senses, right? It's skincare is relational, but we have to look at the relationship to everything that can affect our skin, the relationship to ourselves, to stress. Most people are like, I'm not stressed, I'm totally fine, right? So we have to even talk about that, because people are operating, that's their normal, but their relationship to their physical environment, their visual environment. What are they consuming with their eyes, their ears?
It's an audit.
Right? It's a total, doing a total audit of and nourishment and movement and all of those things. So I, really invite people to try and meet them where which of those relationships can we explore that feels safe enough to start with. And usually as soon as you start doing that, it goes deep pretty fast. Because people realize the connections of like where that relationship and how that relationship developed. Most of the time you say, well, does that sound familiar? Like that not enough never. Whose voice is that? Oh, it's like my grandmother's voice. It's my mother's voice. And all of a sudden they realize, oh my God, this had nothing to do with it. This wasn't mine.
Yeah.
This wasn't mine.
Yeah. That's the
like,
generational
you can just
stuff.
See, like
Yeah. And then your skin starts getting better.
The beautiful flush and glow. That's where
go.
it comes from. That realization, that letting go, that slowing down.
Then the real glow comes. I have to tell you, the amount of times post integration of repressed emotions, repressed something, that I've seen someone's face change and their skin glow.
Yeah.
How is it possible in 1 hour, moving through these things that are coming up, the tension of their face is relaxed and their skin looks hydrated?
Yeah.
When the fascia is released, it brings in water, so that hydration becomes immediate. So that's youth, right? It's like, that's what we're looking for, and all the other things, when in reality, it's just like, I'm okay. And that face that shows ventral vagal dropping and relaxing, I'm safe. That's when people are like, wow, you look so great. What have you been doing? What skincare regimen do you use?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm just happy in my body right now, you know?
And that's the power of connection. And that's actually, what I love teaching medical students, residents. It's actually what I'm going to be teaching about this weekend to my colleagues. It's the time, space, and permission that's created in those sessions that you do with your clients that helps them shift. You are that co-regulating force, right?
Yeah.
We can borrow each other's energy to create the grounding and create that felt sense of okayness, right?
Amen.
Like if you are, I feel safe with you, then maybe I can let go too.
That's it.
And it's beautiful. Like AI can't replace that.
No,
right?
no.
We can't.
And we have to find people in our lives who can hold that.
Yep.
Because if people are dysregulating us, then of course our skin's going to show it.
Yeah.
You know, especially the people we live under the same roof with. It's really important.
It's really hard, right?
It's hard.
So if you are like a teenager, if you are still living in an environment where you can't be fully independent of energies, right? Where are the places, spaces, experience, and moments, even if it's just in your mind's eye, right? Because the brain doesn't know the difference between real or imagined.
Yeah.
You can go there and create that for yourself.
Amen to that. You wrote a book.
Yes.
What's the name of the book?
It's The Skin Whisper, but I would say it was before I really dove deep into the somatics and really fully understood the impact of trauma. So that was like giving birth. I don't know if I want to write another one, but I feel like a different version of the book needs to be written at this point based on all that I've learned.
Okay. And so then how do people learn more up-to-date stuff about you?
Yeah. So my website, drkeirabarr.com. I'm starting to get a little more active on Instagram and social media because I really want to have those experiences shared. And the patient voice is so important also. Right?
Yeah.
The conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And are any offerings or anything that's coming up?
Yeah. So next week, I'm actually offering a workshop really it's called From Flare to Flow. Like what is really causing your skin to keep flaring and what to do about it that have nothing to do with products.
Is this an online workshop?
So it's an online workshop.
Okay. And will you be offering it again just in case?
Yes, I will be offering it again. And then I'm also going to be offering a 6-week, basically a somatic series that lays the foundation. I have a Calm Skin, Calm Mind. It's a longer program, but to get people ready for the holidays of how to navigate the stressors that are fueling their skin inflammation.
Oh, yeah.
Each week, learning a new skills, new tools in community.
Yeah.
Cameras on, cameras off, no judgment. It's just to...
Sometimes people have breakouts or flare-ups thinking that it's the flight back home, but it might just be in the holidays when all that stress and all the people come and all the triggers and you think you do all this work and then you go home and you're triggered again.
Well, I think that's what's so telling when people go on holiday. They're like, my skin's amazing. It's because I was in Bali. I was like, no, you just took yourself out of all the stress and all. Yes, being in Bali is beautiful, but notice the environments and how you are and how you're navigating, right? Can you bring some of that back with you?
Amen.
Yeah.
Awesome work. I love your work. I really do. In another life, I'd be right there with you. And you bring so much value and deeper meaning. Look, I have immense reverence for people speaking for the body because the body can't speak out loud outside of skin issues. It doesn't have the voice. So anyone who can start decoding and bringing more awareness to connection to the body, I think is root level for all medicine. And so I thank you for your work, and it's amazing. And people are going to be realizing their true glows over the years just because of your work, and have been. So I thank you for coming on the podcast too.
Thank you for having me.